Hey everybody, welcome into the reading. Let's go. Hey beautiful people, thank you so much for stopping by my channel. Tiana Louise, Intuitive Coach Sultant, here with a very special solar eclipse in Cancer pick a card reading. I've laid out 3 piles for us to pull from, so go ahead and tune in and choose which pile is calling out to you. This is number 1, number 2, number 3. We'll be looking at the energies that are being highlighted in your life that may come up as a result of this eclipse, very powerful eclipse, also happening at the same time of the summer solstice. I love eclipses. I've had the pleasure of catching some eclipses in my lifetime, and I know how powerful and transformative the energies can be. I'm not an astrologer, but I did do some research that I want to share with you as you tune in and choose your pile, just to kind of highlight the importance and the significance of this particular eclipse, right? But first, let's just talk about eclipses in general. This particular one is the second in a series of 3 eclipses occurring throughout this eclipse season. The third one is scheduled to happen July 4th and 5th. So in less than a month, just in a couple of weeks, that will be an annular lunar eclipse. This one is a solar eclipse where the moon passes between the sun and the earth. And it's said it's going to create this really cool looking ring of fire. So unless you're in Africa or in the Middle East, you probably will not see it. But I'm sure there will be lots of cool photos that we'll get to see online and whatnot. But the thing about eclipses, and the reason why I want to, do this reading to look at potential energies that may be surrounding you as a result of this eclipse, is because eclipses unveil our shadows, right? They unveil our shadows personally and collectively. And I don't know about you, but I have a lot going on in my life personally right now, and there's a lot going on the planet that's affecting us collectively. I don't want to go into it too much, but I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, right? And the cool thing about eclipses, not only do they unveil, highlight, uncover, they also set things in motion. They bring issues to the forefront of our conscious awareness, issues that we may have been struggling with or not have been able to see, right? And they create breakthroughs, breakthrough awareness, right? So that energy, the potential for you to really clear things, heal things, understand things on a deeper level, it heightens and it intensifies with these eclipses, right? And eclipses have the potential to activate events that are already occurring. And I was reading up on the website of a favorite astrologer of mine, and she highlighted something that I think is important to note with this particular eclipse. There's a lot of synchronicities happening around this particular eclipse, not just the fact that it's happening on the summer solstice, but it falls on Juneteenth weekend, right? And Juneteenth is even more important and impactful this particular year because there's hundreds of Black Lives Matter movement events scheduled on this particular weekend. Mercury is also retrograding in Cancer at 14 degrees, same place it was on July 13th, 2013, when George Zimmerman was acquitted for Trayvon Martin's murder, right? So there's a lot of synchronicities. There's a lot of not so coincidental coincidences happening in alignment with this particular eclipse that have the potential to help us make sense and move forward in some key areas and issues that have plagued us collectively for a very, very long time. Now, if you don't know where Cancer is in your chart, because all of this is happening in Cancer, I suggest you figure it out. And if you do know, look at that, because that will give you insight into where this particular eclipse personally affects you. Okay? So I just wanted to throw that out there, some food for thought. We can go ahead and jump into the reading. Tune in, pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. Okay, so if you chose pile number 1, we have Jupiter return benefits. We have the flute, which is in this deck the Hierophant card. And we have emotions are running high, the supermoon. Very, very interesting that we would have this Jupiter return benefits. So to me, this is about something being gained, a reward of some kind, or an unexpected outcome, an unexpected positive outcome for something that you may have thought was going to be not so positive. This flute card talks about connection to spirit, understanding and education, ritual and celebration. Life is magical, right? This is the Hierophant represented by Taurus. And the Hierophant is all about spiritual knowledge, wisdom, spiritual education. And what I'm getting is that, you know, with this emotions are running high, you may be in a heightened energetic place, right? Really uncovering a lot, feeling a lot, and likely not feeling good. But there's some benefit to it, right? Jupiter is the planet of abundance, expansion. So I feel like you're being forced to stretch in some way through this solar eclipse, right? And I feel like it has to do with your spiritual knowledge, your spiritual understanding, the way you look at life, being forced to play the song of spirit in your mind, right? Really having to overcome any doubt, any negative thought patterns, any kind of feelings or emotions that would have you feeling heavy and weighed down. Really learning how to work through those and see it as a benefit to you versus it being harmful to you. So this Jupiter return is something that happens every 12 years, and it marks the time that the largest and most expansive of planets returns to the original place of when you were born, right? So Jupiter returns to the original place in your chart that it was in the day you were born, right? And so this talks about doors being open to you, obstacles being lifted, and you being given the freedom to advance, right? Advance without hesitation, with absolute abandon, right? It also talks about you being able to enter a time where you encounter less resistance and that life should flow easier for you. In the traditional tarot, this card represents the Chariot, right? And the Chariot is all about victory, but it doesn't come without its challenges, right? So this is about things that you've been working on for quite a long time, finally starting to come into fruition, finally starting to make sense, right? This is what the solar eclipse in Cancer is highlighting for you, that breakthrough awareness that we've been talking about. You can expect to get that with things that you've been working on for a long time, even things that you may have started, 10 years ago. So this is a very good card, right? It talks about good fortune and having prosperity in many areas of your life, not just financially. And I feel like one place that you're going to get a lot of bang for your buck is in your emotional body. Really having a breakthrough, a spiritual breakthrough around how to handle your emotions, handle some of the heavier energies that have been plaguing you. And you're really going to learn to embrace them in a way that you never have before, because you're deepening your connection to the divine, to your higher self through this process. And you'll start to see the value of it. And as a result of that, as a result of you being in a more balanced and balanced energetic place, then things in your physical life have no choice but to follow suit. So this is going to be a really good time for you. I feel like this eclipse is going to break you through to the other side of something that you've been dealing with. And instead of it playing you, you'll be playing it, right? And you'll start to see the magic of life more than what you have in the past. I feel like you can feel it. You know it's there. You know, you get a lot of spiritual principles, but at times, because of things happening in your own life, may feel like, you know, well, that it works for other people, but not for me. Yeah, moving beyond that. And it's going to come in the form of some spiritual, emotional breakthrough for you. If you chose number 2, wow, Jupiter is showing up a lot in our readings today with this reading around the solar eclipse in Cancer. So we have Jupiter, number 7, representing abundance. We have the sheer water, an air card, represented by the Queen of Swords in this deck, which talks about the ability to remain free and independent while accepting counsel from a perceptive person or teacher. This is ruled by Virgo and Libra. And vervain is the herb that this card represents. And I love vervain because vervain to me is also about clearing out negative energies, negative patterns, right? And then we have, look at the bigger picture, full moon in Sagittarius. Okay. So there's definitely some sort of mental breakthrough, right? Because we have this air here. We have this card talking about looking at the bigger picture, and there's something to be gained through this breakthrough. Something of abundance, something of value, something that learning it, knowing it, understanding it will pay dividends, right? It's not just a one-time payout. This is going to be something that is valuable to you over the long term. And I'm interested to know what it is, so I want to pull some more tarot cards to look at it. So we have the Nine of Wands. Okay, so this is a card of overcoming. This is a card of having to face some challenges with a lot of strength, right? Being on the brink of almost giving up, but persevering. Continuing to face things and work through them. This is the, not giving up. And not giving up because there's a certain knowing that you have that you'll be successful, right? Knowing that you're stronger than you know. That's what keeps coming up. And having that higher perspective may be a part of that, this looking at the bigger picture. So that will be part of the breakthrough awareness that comes through with this solar eclipse in Cancer, is whatever it is that's going to be unveiled will be unveiled in a way where you can see it from the unique perspective of the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is very confident. She's very intelligent, and she's willing to learn, right? See, she's willing to accept counsel from other people who may be wiser than her. And as a result of that, she always wins, right? She always overcomes, no matter how difficult the journey or the path, right? She keeps moving forward. Yeah, and see, this is what she has to overcome, the devil here, the temptation, because see, with this abundance card, this also lets me know that there's something in the material world that has kept you caught up, kept you trapped, kept you in a loop, a cyclical pattern, right? It's been really enticing too to really move into that line of thinking, that way of being, you know, and really being just focused on self, but to the detriment of self, because it's like you become entangled in this, right? And then you're not able to free yourself, right? You become lost. Your perspective gets lost. And so with this solar eclipse in Cancer, you're going to break through that. You're going to break through that and come out on the other side of it, right? Look, we have the wheel. Like I said, you're going to be thrust forward, propelled forward in some way as a result of some new knowledge that comes to you that's going to help you naturally lean into the expansive energies of Jupiter that you've been so desperately seeking. I feel like if you chose this, you've been on a mission to really bring material abundance into your life, abundance of all kind, right? But particularly material abundance, some sort of opportunity, right? And what's interesting is that this card in this deck, the Jupiter card, represents the Wheel of Fortune, and now we have that again. So this is your destiny we're talking about here. Everything that's occurred up until this point is, you know, fated for you. So it hasn't been in vain, right? So you can expect like a change of, like when I see the wheel, that lets me know some things are going to change, and it's going to change for the better as the result of you being able to see the bigger picture, being able to see something that you had not been able to see before. And so Spirit is saying you just got to keep going. That's what the 9 of Wands energy is. You just got to keep going. And I'm sensing that whoever this message is for, you're pretty tired, because it's like you've been on this merry-go-round of a wheel, going round and round and round, and not able to break through. But something's becoming clear to you now that's going to allow you to do that, right? Because we have this Jupiter here, it definitely signifies good fortune and hard luck coming to an end. Fortune shining on you. Blocks being removed. Okay, if you chose number 3, let's see what came out for you. Wow, look at that. You got the Mercury retrograde card, and Mercury is retrograding. So this is about reinvention. Yeah. Reinventing yourself, reinventing something. And then we have the fig tree, Earth, represented by the King of Pentacles. This has to do with material matters, right? Attending to material matters and getting help with that if you need to, right? And your hard work is paying off. New moon in Capricorn. Love it. So what this is saying to me is that you have been working your butt off on something, and it's paying off. You're starting to be able to see the fruits of your labor. And this definitely has to do with something that you're creating in the physical world, likely to do with your material abundance, something that you may have been working hard at for a very long time. Expect a breakthrough for it, or with it, with this solar eclipse in Cancer. The path is being highlighted for you. Normally, Mercury retrograde is, you know, thought to be a time where things go wrong. And that's not necessarily the case. it's a time where, you know, you should, it's advised that you don't make sudden moves, drastic moves. If there's a business deal, a contract to be signed, something like that, you wait. And so I feel like with this solar eclipse in Cancer happening with Mercury retrograde and the summer solstice, your pathway is going to be illuminated. You're going to come out of it knowing exactly what to do next, what your next move is. And that's going to be the result. Or you're just going to be able to see, like you're going to be able to see how far you've come. And that's going to change your perspective, your day-to-day perspective, when you're actually toiling away trying to make this happen. Right? This is a very potent energy. So this is a time to also think about ways that you can perfect, revise anything that you have been working on already, right? How you can revive something that may have been lost or, you know, dead to you for a while now in terms of your projects. This is a good time to pick things back up and look at them, re-examine them, and see, you know, where there may be some holes or where you may need to shore things up. Because moving forward, you have some really good energy at play for you if you play your cards right. So let's pull some tarot cards to get more information. There's definitely some things to be attended to here, but you definitely have the possibility of things opening up if you do what needs to be done. And remember, retrogrades are a great time to pause, reflect, slow things down, and just go over what's already been created versus forging ahead. So we have 5 of Pentacles. We have 4 of Cups. And we have King of Cups. So I think this is a good time to really look back over what you may have lost in the past, what you may have held yourself back from as, you know, as a result of being fearful of failure or losing something in the past. And really finding a way to cultivate a new perspective around it. Finding the blessing in all of these challenges that you faced up until this point. The King of Cups here is all about, you know, being balanced. He's sensitive, but he's also mature. He can also see things from a balanced perspective. With the 4 of Cups and the 5 of Pentacles, not so much. So what may need to be balanced out here, you know, purely just to move forward, is understanding that you actually are going somewhere. You actually are making progress. I feel like there's this air of illusion of not moving forward, not making progress, because this card is represented by the 2 of Swords, which would have you think there's something you can't see, and as a result of not being able to see it, you can't move forward. And that's just not true. That's just not true. There's actually something there for you. It's being handed to you, but if you're not paying attention to it, you can't see it. If you're too busy looking off to what hasn't worked and focusing purely on that instead of looking for the positives, the lessons in what hasn't worked, then you'll miss it. And so this solar eclipse in Cancer wants to highlight for you what those lessons are and why everything working out the way it has been such a blessing. It's really an opportunity for you to tell a new story around your material matters, around what it is you've created in your material world, right? Because the new story should be told from the perspective of the King of Pentacles. And the King of Pentacles is all about hard work, abundance, and having the will to succeed. Never giving up, no matter what. Understanding that each failure is just a lesson, right? Every wrong answer is just one step closer to the right one. And it doesn't mean that he always feels really good about it, but he always manages to find himself back to the higher or to the balanced place. And he always has his goals. His goals are never too far away from him, but he's not so focused on them that he gets outside of himself or beyond himself emotionally. So I feel like with this solar eclipse in Cancer, you will be shown some of the areas that you need to work on and some of the narratives that can be shifted to help you heal and tell a new story around what it is you're working toward. And it won't be a story that's told from a place of pie in the sky, hope and optimism. It will be a story told based on what you've actually created already. The focus just will be told from a different perspective because you'll be focusing on, okay, you're already clear on what didn't work. You'll be focusing more on what did work, what was right? You'll be able to reinvent yourself from that place. And I guarantee you new inspiration will come as a result of that. Okay, so this was your reading. I hope you got something out of this. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to my channel. And we will talk again soon. Peace.